Keith here, Mark's behind the camera, and today we're going to just paint some pine trees. It's more like a study rather than an entire painting of. When I start, I like to start with a pencil, which I just happen to have. Ta-da. And what I like to do is I like to put a line down where my pine tree is. A lot of times people kind of lean one way or another. It's not that trees don't do that, but I think you'll find it a little easier if you do it. So I'll put a line in. Also, you can judge your height and how wide everything's going to be. Starting out, I'm going to apply some of my May green, and you're going, that's a horrible color for a pine tree. Only if they're dying.
More dead stuff.
Yeah, I've got more dead things. Anyway, now I'm adding a little bit of my, what color is that? Cobalt green. And then I'm going to do a little bit of mixing is what I'm doing.
And if you're not familiar, Keith uses Schminke brand pan paints, at least in this video. He's got his Lowell Cornell brush, his Arches watercolor paper, I think that's the 140-pound cold press.
It is.
And the enamel butcher tray that he is mixing his paints in. If you are interested in picking up any of the things that Keith is using today, there will be a links in the description. Follow that. We've got everything listed out and different places you can purchase them online. If you buy them online, we get a small commission. You don't pay any extra. Or if you'd rather just use that as a checklist to take to your last few local art supply stores, do that too.
I was going to say, I only have one bandana. I need more bandanas. So anyway, I've mixed up a little bit of my phthalo blue, a little bit of the green. Yeah, whatever
May.
that. Which green was that?
May, I believe.
The May green, but also the chrome. I believe chrome green. All right, so.
Still never seen green chrome.
Yep, it's only in Schminke's. Exclusive to Schminke's paint sets. So, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fill my brush with the paint. I'm going to come down my pencil line straight down. Doesn't have to be perfect, okay? Now, what I like to do is the little top ones at the top here are very kind of separated, and they actually point up a little bit. Then, as we come down, they start straightening out. You'll notice I'm not doing a whole lot of detail to speak of. So, but as I come down, see how the stroke gets thicker?
Yes!
It is. It's a miracle. All right.
Wasn't sure if I was supposed to answer or not.
Well, if somebody doesn't, then I start answering myself. All right. So as you can see, as the branches come down the tree, they actually start. I'm like no longer thin little strips, but actually some nice broad strokes with the brush, and that they're all kind of starting to lean down a little bit. Now this technique's great for kind of like the simple trees in the background kind of thing. So I can add a little more color to it. I'm going to do the little one in the back here real quick. And like I said, do your trees in clumps too. A lot of times people tree. We tend to work in patterns. We tend we tend to get things going in rows, and what you want to do basically is kind of break it up a little bit so that maybe a couple of the trees are a little closer to each other. There's a smaller one farther back. All right, so okay, I got another one coming down here. Now I'm going to do, I think, a much bigger one in the foreground here. And what I'm going to do, see how I get that spine in there? I guess we would call it a trunk, right?
You can call it whatever you want.
Yeah. It's my video. And what I'm going to try to do, all right, now, as we come down, I'm going to try to almost have these two trees touch. Yep, like they're on a date. You know what? I got to get out more, obviously. All right. Painting and...
And when your trees start dating, then there's issues.
It's time to start thinking about a home for Mr. Keith. A happy little home with constant care. All right, so as you can see, very simple. You don't have to go nuts to get the feeling. These are great for backgrounds. I made them a little larger than backgrounds I usually would do for this particular, but I wanted you to be able to see how I do it. All right, now what I usually do, I'll let that set up a little bit, but I like to add a little other color. Sometimes a little burnt sienna, because Mark likes dead things in his trees, like squirrels, but I like to have a little fun with some of the color. A lot of times pines are not all that happy and healthy. And I'm going to add a little yellow ochre to this too. Just to make it a little more interesting color-wise. All right.
Now, how do you add snow to those pine trees?
Well, not to these pine trees. What I would do is actually leave white as I'm coming down on these trees. So that will be another pine tree lesson. I'll do it in a minute. I'm just kidding. But yeah, you can have a variety of different trees, dead trees, snow.
I think you should only display it if they start hitting that like button right now.
What?
Hit the like button. Thumbs up.
Are we live?
I am always live.
Oh my God. All right. Now I'm all nervous. So, after a little while, what you want to do is kind of break these trees up a little bit with a little like shadow under each chunk of branches. Now, if it's too wet, it'll probably all just blur away. And we'll do it again. But I think we got enough here to fake it. Dry enough to try anyway. And then the other thing is maybe try to decide where your light is coming from. So maybe one side of the tree will be a wee bit darker than the other side based on where your sunlight is coming from. All right. And unfortunately, I think it is still a little bit wet, so. Is it me or this seems darker? Is this darker in here than usual, or?
Yeah, I didn't turn on the other lights.
Hmm.
I mean, it's not darker on you, but it's darker in the rest of the room.
That's what I was wondering. That doesn't change anything?
Only to you.
Okay.
I might take a nap.
Yeah, that's why. That's what I figure.
Oh, I got the comfy chair.
Mark is asleep behind the camera. I think the batteries will beep when he's...
I got 7 more minutes.
There you go. And then it's kind of hurry up, Keith. So I don't know. Can you see how I'm breaking these up into, different bows? Is that the word I want?
Sure.
Again, it's my video, right? You can call it whatever the heck you want.
Oh, I'll let the internet tell you if you're wrong or
Yeah,
not.
thank you. All right. So this one is still very wet, so I don't think I'm going to be able to break it up as much as I would like to.
So, out of curiosity,
Yeah.
so you're painting individual trees right now. But so, say this was a heavy forested scene in the background.
Mm-hmm.
Would you paint these trees first and then do like your lighter or your green
Like they're
wash
fading,
in the background?
yeah, fading
away?
back.
Or would you do the fading first, let that dry, and then paint the thicker?
I would do the fading first and then bring it forward. It's usually with watercolors, it's easier to work from light to dark. There are exceptions to every rule, but I think it's a good rule. Now, do you want me to do some dead grass down here? Because I know you.
Yeah, I love dead grass.
Yeah, I know you're a big fan.
I mean, I'd rather see live grass.
Oh, hell no.
A couple sprinklers going off.
No.
Will you paint a golf course?
No. I'll paint the rough with the dead grass in it.
You're killing market potential.
I know. But look at it. I'm trying to think of, some of the other... I know. Who's the lawn guys that make sure your lawn stays nice and green? Maybe we could get them as sponsors, and I could start painting things a little happier.
That's what I'm getting at. We could get trips to Augusta and some of the golf courses, and
There
you
you
just
go.
paint the golf course.
I actually had a friend that did that for a living. And actually did fairly well. So, anyway, like I said, this is a study. I never meant it to be a finished product.
Well, like I said too, you would have put the sky in a little bit first.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Lighter over dark over light.
All right.
Now, what if I wanted to do even a little closer up tree? Maybe I've got one right in the foreground. Can we do a
Yes.
quick, close-up branch?
Actually, I'm going to do a slightly different kind of tree. We're going to work very wet and very bold colors. Now, do we have time on this particular segment, or do we wait and I do it again?
Well, I guess if it's a different kind of tree, then we should do it in a different video.
Okay.
Is
Well-
there anything else on the pine trees that we can touch base on real quick? Or
Well, I just want to kind of point out that I am working some shadow and trying to break up so it all isn't just one color, and that you want to get the feeling that it's not a flat thing and that it has kind of 3 dimensions. So you want the foreground, or the boughs coming directly at you to kind of show up. So and that's what I'm doing right now. Okay.
You've got 2 versions of the same green. Just one's got a little more of wood in it to make it darker.
Oh, I just little heavier, more paint, less water, but it's basically the same colors I've been using. I'm just using a lot thicker paint. Okay. So as you can see, these shadows in the front help make the boughs kind of pop out.
Yeah, so I guess the only thing I would think is, do you want to try and squeeze one in with a little bit of snow on it just so people can see the difference if it was a winter scene. Maybe just off to the right there.
You know what? I can actually just kind of whip up another piece of paper. Bum, bum, bum. So I'm going to set this off to the side. So for this one, I'm going to work a little bit bigger. Again, I put my trunk in, spine, trunk. And I'm going to kind of mix up a little more color.
Give me 1 second to reset cameras.
Sure. All right, we're back. I did a quick set of little pine trees, and then Mark said, "Hey, why don't you make them look like they're snow covered?" I'm like, "Oh, okay." So here we go. This time I'm gonna intermittently put my spine in at the top. My little cute little top fronds. But as I come down, I start straightening them out. And then what happens is we start bending the branches down a little bit. And you're going to see that I'm going to leave white between the fronds that are coming down. The Hans and fronds that are coming down. Okay? So you got to kind of, I'll be honest with you, if you're not comfortable doing this, what I do is I'll literally kind of draw my bows in so that I can kind of see where I'm going to be. So it should disappear, okay, with enough paint and stuff on top of them. But as you can see, I'm starting to get a little thicker here at the bottom. And no, not every branch has to have snow on it.
And just so people are clear, using the exact same color paint you used on the other ones.
Yep.
It's just a little bit different technique in how you apply it.
Right. So now, see how I leave a little bit of white, because that's going to be basically that's going to be our snow. Now I'm going to
stick the other one next to it real quick, just so people
okay.
can see.
Is that good?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So now I'm going to come in with a little smaller brush, and I'm going to start applying some shadow. And the shadow should be the bottom half of the branch, and then I don't do that. Okay, so again, I'm gonna see. I'm gonna start kind of connecting these pieces together. Okay, it just kind of makes the tree look a little more finished. Now you don't want to outline it. You want to make it look like there's branches coming out off the side here. And that's what's kind of filling in around the around these branches here.
I would assume having a sky or some sort of a background helps the illusion as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
You're right. Yes, you are. Okay. Yeah, of course, that'll help. But it also, you know, kind of makes it look like there's, you know, branches coming off the side over here too. You know, that it's not all, you know, a little more three-dimensional. I think I got a little too much blue in that. I gotta add a little more deeper green. Now, I'm just wondering, is there a time limit for what we're doing, Mr. Mark?
Well, not particularly.
Okay, good. You're the director. What?
So too far to see the time on that counter now. I just can't win.
Okay, so now I've got my white. And it does, you know, there's like too much white, or if you think it's too much, you can always knock it down a little bit. Now we're not done, but I have to let it dry up a little bit. So while it is drying, I might come in and add maybe just a little bit of sky around this thing.
So you can't do dead grass. It's a winter scene.
Oh, you'd be surprised. So I'm just gonna throw some color around this tree. And you don't have to, I like how people have to make it just perfect. Yeah. All right, so now here I am up on a hill. And maybe just gonna throw a little bit of a shadow in here. So I'm gonna use, what is this? Wrong.
To share with the class.
No, because it was the wrong color. I'm going to use a little bit of ultramarine blue, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little of that to the sky.
That's a strange pick for you.
And I just want to kind of vary it up a little bit, okay? Now, what I wanted to do was kind of also maybe get maybe a little bit of a shadow going over here. And I like using the ultramarine blue with snow because it's cold. It's got a very cool flavor to it. So then I might, with the snow, I might just take a little bit of a wash here and there, just so it isn't all white. All right, what can I do while I learned this from my dad many years ago. I am gonna, here we go. This is amazing. You guys are not gonna believe this. All you had to do is take a little bit of a dark color and you go like this. You go, it's like a rounded V. That's right, it's birds. I'm amazing. All right, anyway, Do you know how many birds I put in my pictures when I was a little kid? All right, there we go. Can't say crows. All right. Meanwhile, back to the picture. If the green is dry, all we want to do is take a little bit, a tiny bit of... If you think I was serious about them birds, I actually was.
Let us know in the comments.
Yeah. Your dad taught you that too? All right. So what I'm doing is in the white, I'm adding at the bottom of the white of the snow in the tree, I'm adding a little bit of a shadow. This kind of gives the snow a little bit of a three-dimensional feeling. Okay, see, right along the bottom, I'm leaving the white, you know, the top's white, and then the bottoms are, you know, it just gives it a little bit of a three-dimensional thing going on. And it gives it a little value. All right, so at this point, I would once the snow is dry, okay. You don't want to do this, or you'll just kind of kill your color. But I'm gonna just kind of go in, and I'm gonna. Oh, I gotta be careful. I believe the shadow is going this way, so I do believe I should be kind of painting the shadows a little more on this side of the painting. Okay. Okay. All right. Just kind of softening it up a little bit using the water. But that kind of gets you a snow-covered tree. And then I might add just a little bit of dark here and there. Like under this, oops, see? That's what happens. The snow wasn't quite dry.
I thought you smudged a bird with your finger.
Yeah. It's taking a dive. All right, at the top here, I just want to get a little more value along the stem there. And I could play with this for a very long time and have a little fun with it, but let's quit here. So, a little different, a little more detail to the snow-covered one. But I think we could kind of call it quits right there before I screw it up. All right. Oh, there's no birds in this one. All right. So,
yeah, 2 minutes you can have birds.
Oh, jeez. The pressure.
Do it!
More birds, I know. This is a white sky. We don't need no. Oh my God. It's just like Dad used to make them. All right. All right, you guys. Do I really got to fill in 2 minutes?
No.
Thank you. We could talk about stuff. Here's a happy squirrel. We're going to start over here. So,
that's it.
You have anything to say?
Once again, check links below if you want to purchase any of the items that Keith used in today's painting. If you have any suggestions on what trees or any other subject matter or tips or techniques you're curious about, let us know. And we will try to get to those in a future video. Check out Keith's website. You follow him on Facebook. He posts stuff when I poke him enough until he post stuff, but he's getting better.
Leave me alone. All right.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel. Give this video a like. And we will see you next time.
Thank you now. Bye-bye.